Hi guys, my name is Melissa, and in today's video we're going to be talking about average problems. So the concept of average is used extensively in our daily lives. And so for example, we calculate average class scores to see how well students did generally on a test. Or we can also use averages for students' heights. And so an average basically gives us general idea of a large population. And so we have formulas to find average and totals. And so an average is going to be the total divided by the number of units or events. And based on this, we can find that the total is going to be the average times number of units or events. And an interesting fact about an average can also be shown below. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus numbers until 50 is going to be average of the first and last terms times the number of terms. So what that means is we're going to multiply the average of the first and last terms. So the first and last is going to be total divided by 2 terms, and then we're going to multiply that by 50 terms. And so we have 51 divided by 2 times 50, and that is going to be the sum of numbers from 1 to 50. So now let's look at our first example. Daniel's average score for the first 3 tests in a year was 73. He worked very hard for the last test in that year to improve his average score to 75. What did he score on the last test to achieve this? So, although we can't find what scores Daniel got for the first 3 tests, we can find the total of the 3 tests. So we know that total equals average times number of units. So in this case, it would be the number of tests. So the total for 3 tests is going to be average of 3, so 73 times 3. And so that is going to be 219. And so now for the next test, we have 219 plus x, and x is going to be the 4th test score. 219 plus x, and the average of those 4 tests, so we're going to divide by 4, is going to equal to 75. And so we know that 219 plus x is equal to 75 times 4, which is equal to 300. And so we know that x is equal to 300 minus 219, and so that would be 81. And so on his last test, he earned a score of 81. Now let's look at the next example. Example 2 says, the sum of 8 consecutive whole numbers is 188. List all 8 numbers. So the sum of the consecutive whole numbers is going to be 188. And so we have 8 numbers involved. 188 divided by 8 is going to be 23.5. And so the first and middle pair of numbers are going to be 23 and 24, because 23 plus 24 divided by 2 is going to give us 23.5. And so the 8 numbers are going to be with 23 and 24 in the middle, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. So now we're going to look at example 3. So it says, it took Samuel 18 minutes to walk to the library at a speed of 40 miles per minute, or 40 meters per minute. He returned from the library at a walking speed of 60 meters per minute. What was his average speed for the whole trip? So, since he was walking to the library at a speed of 40 meters per minute, and he did that for 18 minutes, that would be 40 times 18, which is 720 meters. Then he returned from the library at a walking speed of 60 meters per minute. And so the total distance from where he's starting out to the library is going to be 720 meters. So using that information, if he walked at a speed of 60 meters, that would have taken him 12 minutes. And so the total time he spent would be 18 minutes plus 12 minutes, which would be 30 minutes. So he spent a total of 30 minutes, and the total distance that he walked is 700 times 2, because he went back and forth a path that cost 720 one way. So total, he did 720 times 2, which is 1,440 meters. And he did that all in 30 minutes. To get the average speed, we're going to do 1,440 divided by 30, which is going to be 48 meters per minute. And so his average speed would be 48 meters per minute. Now we're going to look at example 4. And so the average of A and B is 20. The average of B and C is 15. The average of C and D is 18. Find the average of A and D. So A plus B divided by 2, since we only have 2 numbers being involved, is going to be 20. And so we know that A plus B is 20 times 2, which is 40. Similarly, B plus C divided by 2 is going to be 15. So B plus C equals 15 times 2, which is 30. Then the average of C and D is 18. So C plus D divided by 2 is going to be 18. So C plus D is 18 times 2, which is 36. Now we're going to look for the average of A and D. And so to do that, we're going to first combine these two together. So A plus B minus B plus C is going to be 40 minus 30. And so that gives us 10. And what that tells us is A plus B minus C. And so that tells us A minus C is 10. Now combining that with C plus D, we know that A minus C plus C plus D equals 10 plus 36, which is 46. And that is going to be A plus D. So A plus D is going to be 46. And to find the average, we're going to divide A plus D by 2, which gives us 23. So the average of A and D is going to be 23. Now we're going to look at some practice problems. So it says, the average mass of 3 people in an elevator was 60 kilograms. After another person boarded the elevator, the average mass became 57 kilograms. What was the mass of this last person? So this problem is similar to the first practice problem that we solved about a student's test scores. So I want you guys to write out your process in a piece of paper or your workbook, notebook, and then I want you guys to spend about 2 to 3 minutes solving this problem, and then I'll go over the solution with you guys after about 3 minutes. So now we'll look at the solution. So the average mass of 3 people in an elevator was 60 kilograms. So we know that total equals average times number of units. So in this case, it's going to be the number of people. So the total is going to be 60 kilograms, the average, times 3 people. So the total weight or total mass of 3 people is going to be 180 kilograms. Then to that total mass of 3 people, another person who weighs X kilograms boarded. And now the average mass became 57 kilograms. And so there's now 4 people, and that is 57. So 180 plus X is going to be 57 times 4, which is 228. And so X is going to be 228 minus 180. And so that is going to be 48. And so we know that the last person who boarded the elevator must have been 48 kilograms. Now we're going to take a look at problem 2. The average of three numbers is 120. What number must be added so that the average becomes 110? So this is a similar type of problem. So the total of the three numbers is going to be average times the number of units. So three numbers, so that's going to be 3. So the total is going to be 360. Now a number x is going to be added to 360. And so since now that's 4 numbers, the average is going to become 110. And so we know that 360 plus x is 110 times 4, or 440. And so x is going to be 440 minus 360, which is going to be 80. So that tells us that the last number we added was 80. So we're now going to look at the next practice problem. So there's a table that shows the test score of 6 students. And so it says, what is the average test score without considering the highest and lowest scores? So the highest score was John's, 95, and the lowest was 75. And so we're going to exclude those scores. And now the average is going to be 77 plus 82. So if 77 plus 82 plus 78 plus 83. So to get this sum, we're going to add 77 and 82 first. Well, instead of doing that, we're going to use the topic of rearranging that we learned previously. So that can make calculations a bit easier. So we're going to add 77 and 83 together because the ending is going to be 0 with 7 and 3 added. Same idea for 82 and 78. So these two added is going to be 160. These two is going to be 160. So we have 160 plus 160, which is 320. And now since we're only considering these scores of 4 students, now to calculate the average, we're going to do total divided by number of units, which is now going to be 4 since we only considered the scores of 4 students. And so our average is going to be 80. Now we're going to take a look at the next practice problem. And so a box of thumbtacks weighed 1,590 grams. The box of thumbtacks weighed 1,470 grams after 40 thumbtacks were taken out from the box. How many thumbtacks were there in the box at first? So again, I want you guys to try solving this problem on your own. So I'll give you guys about 3 minutes to solve this problem, and then I'll go over the solution with you guys. now we'll look at the solutions for this problem. And so, the box of thumbtacks weighed 1,400 grams after 40 thumbtacks were taken out. So the difference, 1,590 minus 1,470, is going to be 120 grams. And that is due to the 40 thumbtacks that we took out. And so each thumbtack is going to weigh 120 divided by 40, which is 3 grams. And so originally the box weighed 1,590 grams. And so if we divide that by 3 grams, that will give us the amount of thumbtacks that were in the box. So that is going to give us 530, and so we know that there were originally 530 thumbtacks in the box. Now let's take a look at the next example problem. So the average of 5 numbers is 20. And the average of 5 numbers is 20, and the average of the 5 numbers is 18 when one of the numbers is changed to 4. What is the original value of the changed number? So again, I want you guys to try this problem on your own. So I'll give you guys about 2 minutes and then go over the solution. And so now let's take a look at the solution for this problem. And so the average of 5 numbers is 20. So that tells us that the total of the 5 numbers is going to be 20 times 5. So the total of the 5 numbers would have been 100. But then the average of the 5 numbers is 18 when one of the numbers is changed to 4. And so the total changes to 18 times 5, which is 90. And that happens when one of the numbers is changed to 4. And so the difference between the total right now is going to be 10. And so 10 plus 4 is going to be 14. So that means that the original value of the changed number is 14. Next, we're going to move on to another example problem. So the average of another practice problem. And so the average of 35, 40, 41, m, and 50 is 45. Since the average is 45 and we have 5 numbers, the total is going to be 45 times 5, which is going to be 220. And so 35 plus 40 plus 41 plus m plus 50 is equal to 220. And so that is going to equal to 75 plus 41 plus 50, which is equal to 116 plus 15. So 166 plus, so it's that those are going to be 166. And so 166 plus m is equal to 210. So m is equal to 220 minus 166, which is going to be oh, sorry. 5 times 45 is 225. I just made a calculation mistake. So 5 times 45 is going to be 225. Sorry for the error. I think I misread the numbers. So we're doing, I misread the numbers. Sorry for the confusion. So we have 225 minus 166. And that gives you 59. And so the value of m would be 59. Now let's take a look at the next practice problem. So the average of A, B, and C is 70. And the value of A is 2 more than B, and the value of B is 11 more than C. Find the values of A, B, and C. So we know that A is B plus 2, and B is 11 plus C. And because we know these two equations, we know that C is going to equal to B minus 11. And so A plus B plus C is going to be B plus 2, well, A plus B plus C we know is going to equal, since the average is 70, we know that A plus B plus C is going to be 70 times 3, which is 210. So we know that B plus 2, which is A, and 11 plus C, which is B, plus B minus 11 is going to equal to 210. And so that we can cancel out 11, since 11 minus 11 is 0. And so we can write this as 2B plus C we can say that 2b plus c plus 2 is equal to 210. And then we can write c as b minus 11. And so that is going to be 2b plus b minus 11 plus 2. So we can write that as 3b minus 9. And so 3b minus 9 is equal to 210. So 3b is going to equal to 219. And so b is going to be 219 divided by 3. And 219 divided by 3 is going to be 73. And so since we know that b is 73, we can tell that a, which is b plus 2, is going to be 75. And c, which is b minus 11, is going to be 73 minus 11, which is 62. And so we can write our answer as a equals 75, b equals 73, and c equals 62. Now we're going to solve one more practice problem before we end the lesson today. So Julie reads 83 pages of a book on the first day, 66 on the second day, 74 pages on the third day, and 73 pages on the fourth day. The number of pages she read on the fifth day was 12 pages more than the average number of pages she read during the first 4 days. How many pages did she read on the fifth day? So we're going to look for the average number of pages she read on the first 4 days. So it's going to be total divided by units. So the total is going to be 83 plus 66 plus 74 plus 73. And we're going to divide it by the units, and the unit is number of days. So it's going to be 4 days. And so 83 plus 66 is 149. We add 74, so that becomes 223, and then we add 73, so that becomes 296. So 296 divided by 4 is going to be 74. So she read an average of 74 pages on the first 4 days. And so on the fifth day, she read 12 more pages than the average. So she must have read 74 plus 12, which is equal to 86 pages. So our answer would be 86 pages on the fifth day. And that is it for today's lesson, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.